This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Get ready to kick off the 2025 season with your 2024 UFA champion Minnesota Wind Chill. Catch the game with our own Eric Nordquist on Saturday, May 17th at Seafoam Stadium with the first 1,000 fans receiving Wind Chill 2024 UFA Champions t-shirts. Find out how you can win your way in today at KFAN.com, keyword contest.
The legendary Mark Rosen joins us now here at the Fan. I'm calm and he's 10 to be. I have a number of questions I want to ask you.
Sure.
But the most pressing question for me is it like, what did you think of the game? Do you think Steph's going to come back? Did the Wolves come out flat? Can we rebound and win the series? But was it nosebleeds, media section, or courtside with Kilborn?
Courtside with Gardsey and Kilborn.
Gardsey and Kilborn.
Gardsey was sitting right next to me. Yeah. People just pick on me all the time. What about Gardsey? I don't want to pick on him. I'm just saying that our friend Charlie Swanson called at 5 o'clock. That's when I got the word. And Kilborn flew in for the week. And Charlie, of course, who lives here, is Mr. Lexus. And Gardsey got the extra seat. So I sat next to Gardsey. He had some, I think, a kid's thing to do. And
what? Close circle to Charlie. I like the Timberwolves.
No, you said you wouldn't go.
I like the Lexus Club.
I'd like to go.
No.
I
told him, he asked about you, and I said, no, Common said he would rather get a root canal than sit courtside at the Timberwolves.
I do like root canals. They're good.
I know, but so just so you know, because I was going by what you said yesterday. And
did you tell him I like to elevate my scrotum?
I did not. I think that's pretty well known in the Twin Cities, though. It was on a daily basis. I like
basketball. I like swordfish.
I didn't have swordfish.
I don't like swordfish.
I love swordfish.
I like the Lexus Club. I have been to the Lexus Club once.
Well, I'm just saying that you have to start singing a different tune, and I'll be back in my normal media seat tomorrow night.
Sure you will.
I will. No, I'm fine just sitting right there. I mean, it was just an odd night, obviously, but yeah, Gardsey was sitting next to me. He came in and we were chatting.
My sources tell me you didn't participate in the whiteout.
I didn't know I was going to be sitting there.
But there was a T-shirt. But there was a T-shirt there for you, and you didn't wear it.
I put it on. I'm not.
You're beneath that, are you?
Yeah. I just don't need to. No, I was wearing a nice pink shirt, and that's.
Tell me, he wouldn't participate in the whiteout with all the other fans.
You've got to be kidding me!
Everybody else is
not everybody else. No, there was literally A-Rod was wearing a suit.
Well, he owns the club. That's different than you.
No, it's not. Well, I wasn't.
You weren't a media member at that point. You were a fan.
Yeah, I could have been a fan. Yeah, I just.
And you didn't wear the.
No, I don't. It's let me guess.
You think it's silly?
I don't think it was silly. I just didn't think about it.
Were you mumbling in your bed? Look at all these rubes wearing
not
white
for a
T-shirts.
second.
What's wrong with these people?
No, not at all. I think it's great that they all jump in and do that.
Are you disappointed he didn't wear the whiteout T-shirt? It was provided to him. It's not like he had to bring it. It was there sitting on his chair.
Not only that, I'm disappointed that he's trying to deflect and move it. Talk about Gardsey.
Yeah.
Right, it's the same old thing where like the Twins are off to a bad start of the season.
No.
Well, the Yankees aren't off to a great start either.
That's exactly what you did.
I get all the social media attention. And I'm going, well, that's great. I'm not trying to hide from it. I mentioned yesterday I could get that phone call. I did. As it turned out, Charlie had a couple extra tickets. And I'm just pointing out the fact that I sat next to Gardsey and he escapes that. That's fine.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are those seats available to everyone?
No. I've never said they were.
Boy, look at you.
Here's Gardsey.
I was in section 121 with my son. I have no idea what Rosen's talking about. I don't know why he's trying to.
Then you have a doppelganger that was sitting next to me who was talking about his kids' activities.
It is nice, though, that I get no heat for it at all.
You don't. Zero.
I get none. People, I'm just the anonymous one next to Rosie. Yeah. It's the best.
That's the way you like to live.
It's amazing. I can't even get in the door. I was thrown out of the stadium back in 1995.
Deservedly so. You got no fight.
I was thrown out of the stadium and asked never to return. Here you guys are wined and dined, and here have courtside seats.
Well,
let me guess. You want to be on the timeout huddle and suggest a play? That'll be next.
Oh, I would like to suggest a couple things.
We were telling them to go to the basket. Yeah, they weren't listening.
How about they get a Barca-lounger and put it at center court and and then have it rotate like a lazy Susan? You can watch the action as it goes by you.
Well, the Timberwolves were watching the Warriors go by them all night.
What's it like to be beautiful people?
I'd like to tell you, but I got to go move my Lexus RX 350 from visitor parking. I got to go move it from visitor parking.
Take care. See you around.
Where did I go wrong?
You go wrong. You literally play golf for free every day of your life. You think people are... do
you know why?
The
now,
best
let me ask
gig
you a
of
question.
anybody on earth.
Do you know why? It's because I won't kowtow to the local teams like the rest of you guys.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you love them, and you can't wait for them to win, and you're so excited about them. I don't care if they win or lose. I walk the straight and the narrow. It's like,
I'm never critical of the local teams.
Not very often.
Oh, really? You haven't heard me talk about the... Have you heard me about critical of the Wolves?
You doubted the... I gave you a chance to take the Warriors in a bet, and you said...
I took the Lakers against the Wolves.
Yeah.
So how is that kowtowing to the...
Well, now you said they were going to beat the Warriors. You thought it was going to be a lot.
They still will.
Oh, really?
I think they still will. Well, it depends. If Curry's out for the whole series... on a semi-serious note, I mean, and again, he's out obviously tomorrow night. He's not going to play. He's not going to play this weekend. I think pretty much out of Golden State and most.
They
of
said the same thing about Willis Reed.
Well,
they did.
I mean, I just think that this and the thing about what makes Steph Curry, obviously he's the best shooter of all time, but what makes him so effective is that he never stops. He's so good without the ball in his hand, and that takes a lot of running. It takes a lot of stopping and starting. That's going to be something that mentally, as long as physically, is going to be really hard to overcome. I think getting back to that point where he can trust it. I mean, I don't know what the severity of Royce Lewis's hamstring was when he pulled up lame going to first base in spring training. But he played his first game last night.
He was out for like 2 or 3 months. Yeah.
And he got hurt. And then I thought he hurt his knee or something. I saw a highlight where he was cringing. Anyway, but the point is he was out for 2 or 3 months. He may have had a more severe
sprain, whatever. Yeah.
Whatever it is. But Steph's going to be gone. He's not going to play this weekend in Golden State. I've read everything I've read is he's not going to be back until maybe Game 5, Game 6 if there is one. But kudos to Golden State. They came in here, and as we've seen, the home team, you're right, home court advantage.
I tried to tell everybody.
Zilch. There hasn't been a home team to win a game yet in the second round.
When you get to this point,
yeah, it doesn't matter.
All teams are pretty much equal.
Well, and then again, it's you score 11 points in the second quarter, and they looked like they had never played the game of basketball last night. I mean, it was so discombobulated. There was never a flow to anything.
Now, here's the question then. Are you going to say it was just an off night for the Wolves, or Golden State had the right game plan, executed it?
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
I think Kerr is a masterful job of putting his team in the best position. They had a guy they brought off the bench. Guardsy and I were talking about it. If you watched the game last night, I just had to look up his background. Pat Spencer came in and played 11 minutes last night. He looks like the kind of guy that plays for the YMCA rec league on a weekend, and that you go, I'll take that guy. He'll put him on my team. And he played basketball at Northwestern. I think he was a really good lacrosse player, but he's out there and he looks like one of those guys, like I said, that played for the Washington Generals against the Globetrotters. And this is what Steve Kerr does. I mean, he gets the most out of his bench. He used those guys quite a bit last night. Kuminga, Gary Payton Jr., they played 20-some minutes because they had to. But it really, the two guys, the glue of the team, Draymond and your guy Jimmy Butler were terrific last night. Draymond was under control. He played under control. He was wonderful. Butler was really good when he had to be, and Buddy Hield hit the 3-point shots to which we've seen before. He's very capable of lighting them up. In the meantime, the Wolves were, as a continuation, I mean, it truly was not only missing the 3-point shots where they were 5 for 29. Ant must have missed 5 or 6 layups. I don't even know. And you heard Finch criticize him after the game, saying if you're not making your shots, you got to basically have your head in the game. You got to be a leader on this team. And I don't know. I hope he takes those words to heart because obviously.
Well, and that's my issue. It's been my issue with Edwards all along. We know he's a remarkable talent.
Sure.
He's a terrific player. He can shoot. He can do all this and that and the other things. But it's just like, I don't know if his mind wanders. You know, we've heard over this last 5 years, he says a lot of different things about needing to know the game better and this and that. And like, it was just as of 2 weeks ago, within the last 2 weeks, Finch talked about how he was really seeing growth in Edwards and that, you know, they would talk after games and discuss strategies and things to do. And then last night, it seems like that was all gone by the wayside. And I don't know if it's all on Ant. But certainly your best player is the guy you kind of lean on. He's your team leader. Edwards even had in the last week quotes about, being the leader of the team, the guy that's telling guys what to do, criticize, and not worrying about hurting any feelings. The Wolves have sort of taken pride in the fact that they're a team that they can talk to each other and they can call each other out, and they don't do it in a way which is acrimonious. There's not any acrimony, but it's just like they can look at a guy and say, like, Rosie, you're just not cutting it, man. You got to get it done. And then you go, okay, and they do it. They can do that and continue to keep the camaraderie and the teamwork and friendships.
Yeah, the odd thing is he led the team in rebounds last night. He had 14 rebounds, which is very encouraging. And he had 23 points. His plus minus wasn't that bad, but he got to the lane a lot, but he missed, and he was chirping at the officials saying, I went to the lane, how many layups I took? I only shot 5 free throws. Well, I'm sure overall he was embarrassed last night, and I would assume he's going to come out tomorrow night more with fire in his. The whole team has. It's not just him. But one game, and none of the home teams have won yet. So I would suspect that's why the Wolves are 10-point favorites tomorrow night, which I still think is a big number, too big of a number, even with Curry out. But long series, got to win the first one.
We'll take a break. Come back, talk more about Wolves Warriors with Rosen when we return.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
KFAN and Sukup Manufacturing bringing you Fan on the Farm. Starting May 19th, 9 to noon, we'll be taking your tractor talkbacks. Each day, one farmer will be chosen to receive a Sukup prize pack, including a Carhartt cooler and a Brewmate Growler canteen. Get the full details at KFAN.com/farm. Sukup Manufacturing Company, helping farmers feed and fuel the world.
Up 13-14 pastime comedies tend to be Mark Rosen here as well. So Curry leaves injured. I think the game's over. I literally do. I tweet that out, and you got to give a lot of credit to Golden State, because even after being hit in the face with that, when you go, hey,
right,
our leader, our best player in our team, 4-time NBA champ, he's out. They were still able to, as you say, they used a mixture of players to play a suffocating defense on the Wolves, and the Wolves they seem discombobulated and win the game.
Right.
I would think that'll be different. You said they were a 10-point favorite. To me, that seems, because I got to think they're going to say
way too high.
Well, I don't think so, because I think part of the way they were able to play without Curry too was, I think it's at the moment you rise.
Shock of it all.
Yes, as you rise to the occasion.
Yeah. Now they got it.
Yeah. Now it's like, now you go out there, start the game, and go, Steph ain't here. Now that's not to say they couldn't win, but I would expect the Wolves to put together a better effort and win the game. And here's what's and I know if you're a diehard Wolves fan where winning means everything to you, and you probably, you don't wish injuries on players, but you're probably relieved a little bit that Steph's not there. I think you're like me. I wished he was playing all games because it makes it. The best want to beat the bad. If the Wolves were to win the series, I wouldn't say it might taint it slightly, but you can't control injuries. That's just the way it goes, right? So it's not like, well, they shouldn't even accept moving on to the next round. I'm not saying that, but you want to beat their best. But I think they're going to have a very difficult time duplicating what they did last night. Enough times to win 3 more games.
Yeah, I mean, and Curry scored 13 points in 13 minutes last night. Think about what they would have done had he stayed healthy. And it's a rare injury for Steph Curry. And again, when you're talking about a hamstring, you're talking about a guy who puts on mileage during the course of a game because he's so damn good at running around without the ball in his hands and getting himself in a position to shoot one of his 30-footers, but and also drive the lane. I mean, he's just got that moxie and everything about him, which has made him so one of the best to ever play the game. But yeah, Steve Kerr's a master at understanding what his personnel is capable of, and I don't think they have the strongest bench in the world, but he uses them effectively, and I think the Wolves will make their adjustment tomorrow night. Again, it's we've seen it. I mean, Oklahoma City blowing a game to Denver. They play again tonight. I don't expect Oklahoma City to lose to Denver again, but the Celtics blowing a game against the Knicks.
And then the Pacers last night were done. They were dead in the water. They won a game late when Halliburton hits the shot.
Cleveland's hurting without 2 or 3 of their starters, so that's caught up with them, and now they got to go on the road, and it's too bad because they had such an incredible regular season. And now they're undermanned, and Indiana's feeling it. And I would suspect Indiana will probably end up winning that series. Obviously, they're going back home. Again, we just diminished the home court advantage. Maybe Cleveland will find a way, or maybe they'll get one of their players back. But they better hurry up because they're running out of time.
Let's take a couple of phone calls, including this one from B-Town. B-Town, you're on the fan.
Hey, Connor, it's been a minute. I hope you guys have been well.
We have, thank you. Yourself?
Yep, so good. Here's the thing. I don't understand why people are not just more irate about Anthony Edwards not go ahead and take control of the team in the beginning moments of this game. It's your team. You're not doing anything. Your lackadaisical lack of effort, or even, to me, like a 5-year-old in the outfield playing with the butterflies and his glove is in the dirt. Like, what are you doing, man? You got to get up here and start punching people in the mouth, or you're going to get stepped on real quick. And we've been really familiar with that around here for the last, 13, 15, 17 years. Come on, man. Now is the time. Let's not lillygag and, and then not even admit when we're not taking the ball to the cup like he did in the fourth quarter time and time again. Mm-hmm. He had that opportunity so many times in the first 3. And why is Finch still putting him out there? Put the kid on the bench. Do you know how many people the Warrior used last night? 14 guys?
Yeah.
We use I don't know how many. This is just pretty basic, man. You need to have some effort. You're in the playoffs, and you want to be that guy? Be that guy, dude. You're in the playoffs.
Thanks, B-Town. I appreciate
enforce
it. You can hear the frustration in B-Town's voice.
100%. And you can hear it in Chris Finch's voice. Not quite as vociferous as this gentleman just said, but B-Town said. But Finch his point was, look, the shots aren't falling. Okay, I understand that, but you have to be a force out there because someone asked me, you're going to talk to the player. What am I going to talk to him about?
Right.
I mean, what do I have to say to him at this point? If you don't understand the circumstances.
This isn't third grade in-house basketball.
Or in high school. It's like just, you're a pro and you're supposed to be one of the best and you're slaying all the dragons and everything. But it's not just all on him. But he's got to set the tone. Leader, he's got to set the tone for the team.
At this point, you should think he would know what a pro wants and what a pro needs. It's none other than Walter, the Secretary of Insight.
Haven't heard from Walter in a long time.
Hey, Dan.
Walter, how are you, my friend? It's good to hear from you again. There have been a lot of people concerned about you when we don't hear from you as often as we used to. People wonder if you've gone to the great beyond or left town or no one knows, but it's certainly good to hear from you again.
Well, thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. And Mr. Rosen, absolutely.
Good to hear your voice.
Nothing, it's just that, you guys are doing your thing, and I'm not one to just, try to make my way into a program that's already spoken for.
Yes. Yeah,
so
thank you.
You guys are doing your thing, and that's the way it is. I mean, if I happen to be around, then so be it. But no, I want all the fans to know that I'm still the Secretary of Sports Insight, and nothing has changed. We're still in there, and we can compare. We're going to do that.
Why don't you share some of your insight with that game last night? Steph Curry goes down. 8 minutes gone in the 10 minutes gone in the second quarter, but somehow, whether it was a will, there was a way. The Warriors ended up winning that ball game.
Well, it's you still have to play the game. I mean, you can't assume that you want to play a certain team in a playoff series, or you want to, in boxing, you want to fight a certain guy because you're convinced there's not going to be a problem.
Right.
And that's kind of what I saw. I felt like the Timberwolves felt like that this is not going to be much of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I really kind of think that may have been something to look at.
Maybe they read their press clippings, because after everybody, the national media picked them to lose to the Lakers. Then after they beat the Lakers in 5, all the national media members were picking them to beat the Warriors, and they thought, we're rested, we're at home, everybody's on our side. Maybe they took the Warriors lightly.
Well, this gentleman, Mad Dog, who's on First Take,
yes,
he had the Timberwolves winning in 4 games.
Whoa!
Really?
And this is the same person who had a program where he listed the great rivalries, and he had Ohio State and Michigan, he had Georgia, Alabama, he had the Yankees and the Red Sox, he had the Chiefs and the Raiders, but he never put on that board until somebody mentioned it. Allie and Frazier.
He did,
which I believe is
out.
the #1 rivalry of all time in sports.
Well, either that or David and Goliath.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. There you go. Well said, Common.
Thank you, Walter. Thank you.
Yes. And
well, what are the Wolves going to do? What can the Wolves do?
Well, again, like I said, now if you go back to the Lakers series, now J.J. Redick was asked at the press conference. They said, well, J.J., do you confide in your assistant coaches? Do you confide in Nate McMillan or Scotty Brooks?
Right.
And he abruptly got up and left.
Yeah.
He left the press conference. And that, to me, sealed the doom of the Lakers.
Yes, I agree.
Well,
great insight, Secretary.
In a way it did, because he was determined not to play his bigger guys for some reason. He wanted to go small against the Timberwolves. And the result was Rudy Gobert had a night like Will Chamberlain.
Yep, he did. 27 and 24.
Yes, he did.
Yep.
He did. I mean, so like I said, you can't, I just think that you can't assume. You have to. Every matchup is different, and you just have to get out there and put the time and the work in. You have to work at this thing. Everybody said that Jimmy the Greek said that George Foreman will defeat Muhammad Ali with no problem. This will be no problem at all. But Angelo Dundee was aware of a heavyweight from Argentina named Gregorio Peralta. Common, Mr. Rosen, who was 35 years old.
Correct.
He went 10 rounds with George Foreman.
Yep.
Yeah.
No one saw it coming.
That's right.
Yep.
That's exactly right. And I have something else in this series here. This is basketball, not baseball, but in 1972, Reggie Jackson crashed into Bill Freehand in the American League playoff and was injured and could not play in the World Series against the Big Red Machine. And the Oakland A's still prevailed over the Big Red Machine without Reggie Jackson. It's one of the great feats, I believe, in sports history.
Yes.
But you can't get it. You can't get it from First Take.
No.
You can't get it from Tom Selleck.
No way.
You can't get it from Colin Cowherd.
No, you can't. But where can you get it?
Well, Colin, thank you. Thank you for giving me this floor. Thank you for giving me a chance to
hear your
express
voice.
myself. And you, Mr. Rosen, absolutely, my man. That's right.
Oh, man.
I want to ask you one last question.
Sure.
If you had to choose, I don't know. I got some sounds coming out of my phone that I don't want. If you had to pick between one of these two fighters, who do you think was a better fighter, George Chuvalo or Oscar Bonavena?
Well, that's a very common, a very intelligent question.
Thank you.
They both are extremely durable. They both fought everybody. Both those guys, they duck no one. They have so much in common with each other.
Real tough as nails.
I tell you, I tell you what. I think I would go. Well, I tell you what. I think Bonavita was the harder puncher. But Chuvalo was good for 15 rounds, no problem.
Yeah, every time.
That's no problem at all.
Those were the days, my friend. Secretary,
yes, sir.
Secretary, do you have a go team or gone but not forgotten for us?
Well, I want to salute a gentleman who a very tremendous fan of the Minnesota Timberwolves, a good friend of our family, Greg the camera guy. We want to salute him because he is absolutely tremendous, and he is a dedicated fan of the Minnesota Timberwolves through thick and thin. He was there when it was hopeless, and he is there when it got better, and he is there when the team is in the playoffs. Greg the camera guy.
Yeah, thank you, Walter. Thank you.
Thanks, Walter. Good to hear your voice.
Hope
Take
to hear
care,
from you
man.
again soon.
Yep.
Walter, the Secretary of Insight.
Man.
Bringing the insight as only he can.
George Chuvalo or Oscar Bonavita?
Oscar Bonavita. Do you know where he was from?
Argentina, wasn't he?
And do you know where George Chuvalo was from?
Canada.
That is correct.
See, I know my boxing.
Well, some of it.
Some of it, not like I remember watching George Chuvalo's fights, but he was like Scotty Ledoux. He just never know he could ever knock him down.
We do know one thing, you're punch drunk. We know that.
I do know that.
So,
yes, that's very true.
We'll take a break. One more segment to go. Plenty to get to with Marco, including his favorite baseball team continues to be on a roll. We'll talk about that next here on the Comment Program with the Fan.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.
Fan. Oh, boy. Carboni's Pizzeria wants to fuel your playoff party. Visit one of their 30-plus locations to enjoy delicious pizza and get ready for the playoff run. Find your nearest Carboni's today at carbonispizza.com.
By the way, for the record, George Chuvalo and Oscar Bonavita fought at Madison Square Garden, at the Garden, in the main event in June of 1966.
How'd that turn out?
It was a 10-round heavyweight bout, and they weren't doing the 10-point must system. They were just doing round by round. The referee was also a scoring. So sometimes back in the days now, referees, I don't think, very rarely ever score. They usually have 3 judges. But he scored the fight 4-4, so I'm assuming he had 2 rounds of draw. Judge number 1 had Bonavita winning 5 rounds to 4, while the other judge had Bonavita winning 7 rounds to 3. So the youngster, Oscar Bonavita, at age 23, defeated the savvy veteran, the 28-year-old George Chuvalo, in a 10-round
You told me something surprising, that Chuvalo's still alive. I had no idea. I thought, man, especially with all the shots he took.
I think Oscar Bonavita, if I'm not mistaken, was kind of a ladies' man, and I think he was shot by... I could be just making this. Maybe I shouldn't say these things.
Sounds vaguely familiar.
I thought Bonavita was...
Lover's quarrel?
Yeah, and he was... I think somebody shot him to death, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll do it.
Let me see if it says that. Life and pro career versus Ali. Death. Yeah, it says... On May 22nd, May 1976, May 22nd, Bonavita was shot dead at the age of 33 by security guard Willard Ross Breimer at the Mustang Ranch brothel near Reno after having been come involved in a conflict with its owner, Joe Conforte. So it wasn't a lover's quarrel, but he was at the Mustang Ranch. His body was returned to Argentina to lie in state at the Luna Park Sports Arena in Buenos Aires, where 150,000 people filed him.
He was a national hero.
The Argentinian Oscar Bonavita. Your twins. It's starting to all come together now.
Hey, here we go.
They've won, is it 3 or 4, 4 or 5? They beat 2 from the Red Sox to wrap up that series. And then they beat Baltimore last night. And last night I did not see any of the game, full disclosure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure defensively how well they did, but they obviously had a clean pitched game. They had timely hitting, and the guys that you want. Buxton has been on a roll now, actually, for a couple of weeks. I'm so disappointed as we've, and injuries aren't necessarily players' issue, but he's been like Correa, been like Lewis, had a lot of injuries over the years, couldn't stay healthy. This is, other than maybe he's had an off day because of a, one of those maintenance days where they give an off day and getaway day. He plays all the time. Yeah. He leads the team in home runs. He had his 8th last night. He's driving in runs. He's making diving catches when he doesn't have to. He's doing a lot of things. And now Correa kind of has now been slowly starting to get going as well. Lewis played last night, didn't get a hit. If you remember, the other times he came off the injured list, he would have a mammoth game at the plate. He didn't last night, but I'm sure he'll start to heat up. The pitching was, again, very good. Lopez was terrific. Ryan's been good. The team at least gives you some hope. Now, again, once you get to postseason, you're playing the big boys. If you get to postseason, you start playing some of the big boys, it gets a little more difficult because those teams, Yankees and the likes, they don't seem to have a lot of weaknesses, but they're playing better now.
Well, I don't know what happened in Baltimore. They're 13. They were a really good team. Wasn't it a year ago? I mean, last couple of years, I think they've stopped spending money, and their roster's not very good. And the Twins took advantage of it, and it got to the point where after scoring 5 runs in the third, and Pablo had to pitch only 5 innings to get the win, 11 strikeouts. He threw 90, but he did throw 98 pitches in 5 innings. So I think Rocco said that's enough. And with building up such a big lead, they were able to kind of cruise after that and win 9-1 going away. 3-hitter, combined 3-hitter. And you mentioned Correa, 3 for 4 last night. He's definitely finding his stride a little bit at the plate. I saw one clip of Royce when he kind of looked like he jammed his knee or something.
Oh, boy.
And it wasn't anything. He stayed the game. Well, he's a DH, so I mean, we don't know what it'd been like had he been in the field. But I was knocking the rust off a little bit. I don't know. I didn't see any of his plate appearances to see if he made any good contact with the ball. But they're having. I think, like I said yesterday, I think the pitching will keep them in a lot of games and a lot of series. And now they're, again, I always look at the record to say, well, when they get close to 500, then you can start taking them seriously. And they're 16-20 now, and they got a schedule that's favorable this week with Baltimore here a couple more times, and I think San Francisco's coming to town the end of the week, and they drew at least announced attendance was 19,000 last night up against the Wolves game, and et cetera, et cetera. But with beautiful weather we're having all week, I think you're seeing more people, starting to pay attention a little bit. So, long ways to go in terms of, kind of rallying around this team, but showing signs of it is what you want to have for the long summer, that, their lineup will be good enough to compete against a lot of teams.
You're getting ripped.
For what?
Talking about the Twins, Rosen continues to claim the Twins will be in the mix by saying something to the effect of because of this division, meaning that the Twins will have a chance at the playoffs because the Central's lousy. Really, Mark? This team sent 3 teams to the playoffs last season, currently one of only 2 divisions in Major League Baseball with 3 teams above 500. What do you think of the AL Central now, Mark?
Yeah, they're outstanding. And remind me, I can't remember who played in the World Series last year. It was the Dodgers and Yankees.
It wasn't a team from the Central. I know that.
No, I don't think so. So I mean, I'm just
the third place team in the Central will have the best record in the AL East right now.
Yeah, well, the AL East is not very good. I do admit that, but the Yankees are still the Yankees. So listen.
So Rosen's trying to brush off that woeful Wolves performance last night by saying no home team won a game.
I'm not trying to brush it off. I've just stated a fact, you moron.
As if the performances of the Celtics, Cavs, or Thunder had a direct impact on the game last night. Those games are not cause and effect, Common. The outcomes of all other games have absolutely no impact on the Wolves. Rosen, again, firing up the excuse computer and unable to place blame on our precious aunt and his buddy, Finchy.
It's really hard for someone like that to listen because they're so busy typing in their isolated, lonely world of social media that they can't even listen to what I had to say. I just stated
I thought that's what you said.
Fact that the home team has yet to win a
he
game.
Interpreted it as like, well, everybody else lost, so why not?
No, I'm not interpreting that at all. And
that's
if you listen to me, I said that I was critical of the whole thing. I was watching the whole game. They were discombobulated. What do you think that means? Look it up when you're typing away at your little keyboard instead of being productive and going outside and taking a walk.
Fastest thumbs in the West. God. But then there's this one. Hi, Com, and I was up at 1600 Utica yesterday picking up a prize pack I won from Surfside and KFAN that include 2 free tickets to the Twins game last night. I happened to run into Mark Rosen as he was exiting the building after the Grum. We had a really great conversation. He was so friendly to me and my son. I know Rosie can be your punching bag quite often, so I just wanted to share my experience. My son had such a great time at the Twins game, and I want to thank the fan for the opportunity. Always listening, Perry from Cottonwood. So you took time from your busy day to talk to the young man and his son.
We had a nice conversation. He's from Cottonwood, and he told me what part of the estate it's in. I said, well, my wife's family is and she's from Westbrook, southwestern Minnesota. And I said, how far is Westbrook from there? And he explained it to me. He's a farmer, and he was thrilled to get the tickets. And, through the eyes of his son, may have been, I think, 10 or so, his son looked at me, I got a $20 bill in my pocket. And he was so excited to go to the game. And, it brings back memories of all those situations. Then he saw a great baseball game last night. So I was happy to spend some time with them. And nice father-son moment, for sure.
The Lexus Club legend, courtside with A-Rod, casually slicing into swordfish, so fancy, they probably had an agent and asked for a tip. Meanwhile, the rest of the hardworking media grinding away in the upper level, living off warm soda, cold pretzels, and prayers for a functional Wi-Fi signal.
Now, Target Center's Wi-Fi works quite well.
Yeah, sums it up. Johnny Krasinski's of the world, the Chris Hines.
And I'm there all the time doing the same thing. And first of all, they have a media area where you spend $15-$20 for a meal, whatever it might be. And they have a nice salad bar, and you can partake in that.
Food is pretty good.
It's okay.
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
It's not Lexus Club, but it's good.
No.
Glenn puts out a decent spread.
He does. And Glenn's still sitting there. It's kind of funny looking at Glenn. And it was late night. He was yawning about 11. I'm thinking, well, a lot of people were yawning by halftime.
Yeah.
But, all of a sudden you realize it's a late start. Tomorrow night's an earlier start.
7:30.
7:30, so that'd be a lot more.
And you won't be there with Kilby.
I'll see Kilby, but I won't be sitting next to him, no.
I remember...
He flew in for the series this week, yeah.
When I was a Cub reporter, I had...
Forest Lake?
Well, even when I started working at the Fan, I would go to games.
Yeah.
But in Forest Lake, I would, I'd get the media pass.
Sure.
Have the food, and it was fun. I did that a number of times. Then it got to the point where it's like I'd go to the game, eat dinner, and then leave after the third quarter. Then it would be to the point where I'd come, eat the meal, leave at halftime.
No.
So then it got to the point where I called media relations and I said, look, why don't we just end this charade? How about if I just pull up out back, honk the horn, and you run out to go back for me? So, why pretend I'm watching the game?
No, you don't.
And could you just run some food out to me?
Right. Right. That would be a really good idea.
Take off and go home with a doggy bag.
Exactly.
They never did. They didn't do that, though. They wouldn't.
No.
They drew a line in the sand and said,
well, it got to the point where media outlets, the bosses, would, I think it started with the newspapers. It used to be the food, the media spread would be free.
Free.
And then I think the bosses at the various media, especially the newspapers, said, no. I don't want you to be. We want to pay. We have to pay for our. Well,
because they don't want to be accused of being wined and dined and bought.
So now, other than I don't know how it works.
Like you and Guardsy getting courtside seats and Lexus Club, and boy, I love this Wolves club. I really like their chances.
I love the club. I don't think they're going to ever lose another game. But I'm trying to think now that like the Vikings don't charge for meals. Wolves do. The Twins do.
Oh, the Twins charge for that?
Yeah.
That's a surprise. You would think a free spending organization like that would just give that food away.
Certain people have whatever. I think they, their media. I'm not sure what the line in the sand is for that, but when I go there, I just, if I do eat dinner there, I know it's $15 or whatever. It's still.
Yeah. And I actually think the food's actually pretty good.
And even in the press box, they have, like your hot dog, they only charge like $2 or something. It's not a big deal.
Viking games, I used to love going. They would have the free hot dogs back there.
Oh, yeah. Back at the Dome you're talking about?
Yeah. Who was the gal that ran the Twins press box? Peg.
Oh, God bless Peg.
Yeah,
she
Peg.
passed away a few years back.
Yeah, Peg was good.
She was the best.
She ran a really, really good media room. Press
when
box.
I started, and this is going back in ancient times, and the Twins room at Met Stadium was notorious because, not so much for their meals, which were wonderful, but because the writers would stay way after the game. And when Billy Martin was managing, for instance, they imbibed in a few alcoholic
have
drinks.
a couple of beers and
until 2 a.m. or whatever. They'd keep it open all night. And that's when the reputation of the writers were, and Halsey Hall would be there. When I was 19 years old, in the great Halsey Hall, he'd come up to me, "How you doing, kid?" He always called me kid, He didn't know my name. And I was like, I'm in the same presence of Halsey Hall, for crying out loud. He'd have his onions. He truly would eat. And I felt bad for, whether it was Ray Scott or whomever worked with them, back in the day. But
breathing onions all over.
Yeah, he truly did love those onions. And, those were...
He was our... who was the guy for the Cubs?
Harry Carey.
Yeah, he was our Harry Carey.
Yeah, exactly. He really was. He had that hearty laugh, and had
and always had good stories. And self-deprecating to a fault. He
perfect baseball.
Yeah.
Storyteller in the radio booth.
Correct.
Yeah, for sure.
So, do you expect now with, look, I think with Curry it was going to be tough for the Warriors if the Wolves play that they're capable of to win. Without Curry, unless they can duplicate what they did last night 3 more times, which I think is going to be difficult to do. I think the Wolves, obviously it's just one game. Even if Curry was still there, you wouldn't say the Wolves couldn't win. But without Curry, I know it was really great for the Warriors last night, but I just have a hard time finding they can do that 4 more times.
Well, 3 more times. Yeah, but I don't underestimate Steve Kerr and what he's able to do with this team. And I think he knows what buttons to push, and he can play small ball, and he can get these guys to play, knowing they know Curry's not going to all of a sudden come out Willis Reed style and show up in the next couple of games for sure. So, the knowing that he's out, changes a lot. I think they can prepare a little bit better from the get-go. That's why last night was so shocking in the context of how poorly the Wolves played, because Curry went out in the second quarter. You still have plenty of time to adjust to his absence, and the Warriors don't. He scored 13 points in how many minutes? And now he's gone?
Yeah.
And that's what scares me a little bit, is that, Kerr's got time now to kind of, plot a little bit more. And I'm sure that, the Wolves had their practice today, and, that's why they're prohibitive favorites tomorrow night. And they don't have anyone to match that. But I don't ever underestimate, as they say, underestimate the heart of a champion, is Rudy Tomjanovich said, or whatever.
Well, and then, you mentioned about how how many players did Golden State use? Was it 14? Was it that many? It seemed like it. And I think
a lot of no names, but some good players.
Well, but see, here's even if they are no names, here's the difference. Defense, it takes some talent to play defense, but most of defense is effort. And so if you're going to try to play in-your-face defense for 48 minutes, which is what Golden State did last night, you need bodies, because it's hard to work defense because you're following and trailing and trying to, and so when you can have guys play for 4, 5, 6, it's almost like hockey switching lines, you know?
Right.
And when you can do that, if your players will give the defensive efforts that required, it's harder to be an elite offensive player, I think, than an elite defense. I really do. I think it's just harder because you got to be able to shoot and get open and catch and shoot stuff. With defense, just get in the guy's face, deny him the ball, work hard.
Yeah, the guys will do that, and the Wolves do too. But they weren't doing much for last night. And and the Cale Alexander Walker's got to show up again. He's been absent. DiVincenzo was 3 for 11. Shannon only got 2 minutes. I'd like to see him play more.
You like him.
I do. I think he gives them an offensive spark, gives them that energy that they were missing last night. In fact, I would have put him in a lot sooner than what Finch did last night. So
I think of things outside the control of the team that affected it last night was Teneby didn't play a montage yesterday before
100%.
the game. And you didn't wear your white T-shirt that was provided you for the whiteout. Those are
the two key elements.
Well, two of them outside of that were out of control of the Timberwolves were those two, and I'm disappointed.
I apologize.
All right. I think Tennessee hopefully will rebound tomorrow with
They had one today.
And he did. And maybe you might wear a white T-shirt tomorrow just for the hell of it.
I won't.
I didn't think you would.
No.
We'll see you tomorrow 2:00.
Yes, sir.
Tennessee, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We enjoyed our visit. It was always fun. We're back tomorrow at 12 noon. Stick around. Big Ticket and JGR next year on the Fan.
Good night. Good morning. Good afternoon. And good night, Minnesota.
And good night, folks. And good night, Mrs. Calabash. Wherever you are.
I'm a fraud.
Yes.
Listen back to any of Common Man's programs by podcasting on the iHeartRadio app or KFAN.com.
Time is precious, and so are our pets. So time with our pets is extra precious. That's why we started Dutch. Dutch provides 24/7 access to licensed vets with unlimited virtual visits and follow-ups for up to 5 pets. You can message a vet at any time and schedule a video visit the same day. Our vets can even prescribe medication for many ailments, and shipping is always free. With Dutch, you'll get more time with your pets and year-round peace of mind when it comes to their vet care.